In 1969, humanity achieved something extraordinary. The mission Apollo 11 carried humans across space and placed them on the surface of the moon for the very first time. For the first time in history, a human being stood on another world. It proved that reaching the moon was not science fiction, it was possible. The world watched in awe as this impossible dream became reality. But the moon missions were never only about exploration. Behind the scenes, there was another powerful reason driving the entire program: competition. During the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a technological battle known as the space race. Reaching the moon became a symbol of power, intelligence, and global dominance. Winning the race mattered more than staying on the moon long-term. And once the United States successfully landed astronauts on the lunar surface, the political urgency that fueled the missions began to fade. Going to the moon was not just difficult, it was unbelievably expensive. The Apollo program cost the equivalent of hundreds of billions of dollars in today's money. Thousands of engineers, scientists, factories, and workers were involved in building the rockets, spacecraft, computers, and life support systems needed for each mission. Every launch required years of preparation and enormous resources. As public excitement slowly declined after the first moon landings, many people began asking a difficult question: was returning to the moon worth the cost? The moon missions achieved incredible scientific results. Astronauts brought back rock samples, conducted experiments, and helped scientists better understand the moon's history and formation. But after several successful landings, much of the most important data had already been collected. At the same time, robotic spacecraft were becoming more advanced. Robots could explore space for a fraction of the cost, without risking human lives. Slowly, space agencies began shifting their focus toward unmanned missions that could travel farther and stay active for much longer. Every journey to the moon was incredibly dangerous. Astronauts sat on top of massive rockets filled with explosive fuel, traveling hundreds of thousands of kilometers through space with very little room for error. The danger became painfully clear during Apollo 13. An explosion inside the spacecraft nearly killed the entire crew and forced the mission to abort. It was a reminder that even a small failure in space could become deadly within seconds. As time passed, governments and the public became less willing to accept the enormous risks of sending humans back to the moon again and again. After the Apollo era ended, space exploration began moving in a different direction. Instead of short moon missions, agencies focused on learning how humans could live in space for long periods of time. This led to projects like the International Space Station, where astronauts could study the effects of microgravity and test new technologies for future missions. Attention also shifted toward Mars, a world seen as the next great destination for human exploration. Compared to Mars, the moon started to feel like a place humanity had already conquered. There was another problem few people realized. After the Apollo missions ended, much of the technology and infrastructure used to reach the moon slowly disappeared. The giant Saturn V rockets were no longer produced. Factories shut down. Specialized equipment was retired. And many of the engineers who built the Apollo program moved on or passed away. Over time, the ability to launch humans to the moon was not maintained. Humanity had achieved the impossible, then stopped building the machines that made it possible. The moon may look close to Earth, but surviving there is incredibly difficult. There is no breathable air, no atmosphere for protection. Temperatures swing between extreme heat and freezing cold. And then there is the lunar dust, sharp, abrasive particles that can damage equipment and even harm human lungs. Every mission requires life support, radiation protection, reliable landing systems, and a safe return home. Going back to the moon is not as simple as repeating the past. In many ways, we must build the entire system again from the beginning. But this story is not the end of humanity's journey to the moon. Today, a new era of exploration is beginning with the Artemis program. This time, the goal is different. It is not just about landing again, it is about staying, building sustainable missions, testing long-term life support, and preparing for deeper journeys into the solar system, including Mars. The moon is once again becoming a stepping stone for the future of space exploration. So why haven't we been back to the moon for so long? The answer is not that we forgot how or that it was impossible. It's that the original purpose disappeared once the race was won. But now, everything has changed again. The moon is no longer the end of the journey. It is the beginning of the next one.